Welcome to the Thursday video. I don't have a lot to do right now or a lot to say for the video because unfortunately the hurricane that's coming to Florida, and I live in Florida, Hurricane Helene, I forgot what it is. Um, it doesn't matter the name of it. It is supposed to hit landfall today, or at least tomorrow. However, thankfully, I'm not in the storm's path where I live in Florida. I'm not on the storm's path, so I've lucked out. Now it could somehow twist and turn and then hit me, but I'm pretty sure I've lucked out, and we're not my place where I live isn't going to be hit by a hurricane, and I don't have to evacuate. So that's good, but that's pushed back by plans. So this is going to be I wouldn't say a short video, but I don't really have anything planned because for yesterday I was packing up everything just to make sure, if I had to leave, I could leave and, making sure everything's put up and everything. And so I don't really have another info-based video for you, and I know last week I didn't do one, and tomorrow I'll try to do a video, I guess. I'll try to do a video and we'll see how that is because tomorrow it should be over. The hurricane should have hit Florida, and by then I will know for sure, it's not hit. It hasn't hit where I live. And so the library that I go to is closed to get today. And so that's why we're in my car. And that's why the computer's like sideways. Last time I did it right here, for that video, the weekly update, not last one this Tuesday, but Tuesday before then. Um, and so we're in my car and we're doing it. It's not the best setup, but it's better than the time I did it 2 weeks ago because that at that time it was like 5 o'clock and I could barely like the sun was going down as I was recording the video, and so the lighting wasn't really good. The quality of the video wasn't really good because the lighting was really bad. And so today it's a lot better because right now it's 3 o'clock, so I got an hour to make this video. And so I don't have a lot to talk about. Well, what we will be talking about is the book I have been reading a little bit, Traffic Secrets by Russell Brunson. That's the book. Business is taking up a lot of my time right now because that's what I'm really focusing on. Because my plan is for the first 6 months, I'm in Charlotte in North Carolina. That's where I'm moving, and it's a big state. And I'm moving there, and so I have to have a source of income, or at least a partial source of income. I'm gonna go all in on the business because I have some money saved up. So for 6 months, I'm kind of good. After those 6 months, I have to find a job if I don't have any income. And if I have a little bit of income, it'll probably cost me about $3,000 a month to live, and not spend anything. So $3,000 a month is what I have to have an income on in the next 6 months. Now, what I plan on doing is for the first 6 months, I'm focusing solely on the business. I won't say I'm focusing solely on the business. 4 hours a day will be doing delivering food. So Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever it is, one of the services. I plan on doing that for 4 hours a day, and that will cover or almost cover my rent. And so that's my biggest expense, and so that will cover that. So I'll have more spending money and everything. And so I have to be doing that. And now, of course, part of my time will also be spent on my college classes because I will finish those by the end of the year. I have moved back the date because, originally I wanted to get it in like a month, 2 months, but I'm trying to get it as fast as possible. So, or I was trying to get it as fast as possible, but now the accounting degree, while it's useful and I've paid $4,000, well, I'm on a payment plan, so it's $800 a month or like $600 a month, whatever it is. I'm on a payment plan, but basically I've paid $4,000, just for that degree. And so I want to get that degree, and at least I want to prove to myself I can graduate college. And I want to give my parents some hope that I finally got a bachelor's degree or whatever, because that's one of their dreams for me to have a bachelor's because they had one or they had some. They both had bachelors, and my dad even has a master's. But getting on to the topic, so I've moved back that a little bit, but everything's closed right now. And I was going to get a haircut today, but I ended up moving back, rescheduling the appointment, because my haircut barber you have to have an appointment for them to do a haircut with them. And so I had to move it back, and I moved it back yesterday because I didn't know for sure if the hurricane was going to hit the nearest, near me or whatever. However, I do know where I live was under um wind advisory wind advisory. So that's why a lot of the schools shut down, even though they said they were going to open, but last minute last night they said they were going to shut down. So all the high schools shut down, all the colleges shut down, and that's why the library's not open, because I go to a college library, if you don't know, to do my work and record my videos on Tuesday and Thursday. However, I wasn't able to do that, so that's why we're in the car. But I've been really focusing on business. My dad invested in me $70 into my bank account that my parents can access. So I have three separate banks accounts, but the main one right now that I'm phasing out, all of my money is going to go into another account. So any money I make is going to go into another account. But the one I have right now was the one from UCF. It was a Fairwinds bank account. It's a local credit union in the Orlando area, I call it the Orlando area, but Central Florida. Um, and so that's where I have most of my money, but I'm getting rid of that account because I'm going to be states away, and it's almost inconvenient, and like the ATM fees will be higher because I'm not near that place, and there's no bank branches. I have to do all of my banking online, and if I'm getting checks, I have to like picture them online and everything. So it's kind of a pain in the ass if I ever need any support. I've never had a problems with them, but just because of that, I am moving to another bank, and I'm thinking Bank of America. And so that's the book I'm reading, Traffic Secrets. And for this video, I'm going to go over the stuff I've learned. I've only read like 50 pages of it, okay? And so the main takeaways from so far, what I've read, is you want to become obsessed with your customer, and you want to find what influences that customer the most. So for me, and what I've been really exploring is my business will be like a bookkeeping business, and for small businesses, from businesses making up to, let's say, I think $10 million a year or $1 million a year. I haven't decided yet what will be the max, because once you get bigger as a company, it becomes a risk not to have your own financial department. Eventually, you have to have that just for risk, but when you're small, you don't really need any of that, and it's not worth it because, financial stuff. Sorry, I'm turning the air conditioning down for myself because it's getting hot in here. Uh, for a bigger company, you have to have that, but for smaller companies, it just adds overhead for you to pay in a financial department or have someone do your accounting and all that stuff, and having an employee just for that. What you really want to do is what a lot of businesses do that are smaller, is they either outsource their accounting stuff because it's not revenue generating. It's not like sales or marketing or actually delivering the product, your overhead. It's not any of that. And so it's not directly revenue created, but you do need to have it so you can assess the health of your business, but also for tax season. And so most business owners either do it by themselves, they take care of it, and that takes up a lot of their time, and they mess up because they got to kind of learn it. And they have so many things on their mind and all these problems in their business that it's hard to have the time to do that. So a lot of them outsource it to a guy to do it for how much dollars a month, or they might just give them a fee to fix part of their bookkeeping that they messed up if they're doing it themselves and they realize they messed it up, whatever it is. And so that's my dream customers, are those. It's definitely small business owners, but I have to find out the 100 dream influences on these customers. And so I could do what are my 100 dream customers. However, that's if I'm a big business who sells a product worth thousands of dollars. Let's say, I'm selling a thing that costs $10,000 a month to a business, a software to a business. Like, let's say I'm selling a software that allows you to do bookkeeping for clients. Like, let's say I sell the equivalent software to QuickBooks for $10,000 a month. Those are high. ticket client, or that's high ticket value. So that's high ticket value and it costs a lot more. And so you only need like 100 customers to get to like 1 million, but I'm doing a lot more spread out. So it's more products on, I need 1,000 customers, to make the same amount. And it's, the price, the value is less. Now the expenses to create that product or that service are less, than a bigger company that has $1 million software team or something like that. And so what the book talks about is if you're not a big business doing high ticket sales, what you want to focus on are the 100 influences that the dream customers of yours listen to. So for me, it's like small business owners who they listen to grow their business because they're worried about revenue and all that stuff and expenses. So who do they listen to? Or what in their community? For example, I'm going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. While I want to have some online clients, I also want to have some local clients. So I have to ask myself, so what are these business owners, small business owners going to? Like where are they going? What networking events are they going to? What events? Who do they listen to on podcasts? What books they read? All that stuff. And you want to find like the top influences. So, locally, it's like the Chamber of Commerce, the business guilds, all the small business resource centers. And you want to connect with those people and help get them to sell your product or sell. Now you have to help them in return. So, I'm imagining you can do like an affiliate thing where they get 10% of the profit of the, customer or whatever, 10% of the revenue that they bring in or something like that. Or you offer your services for free if they bring in, people, your customers to you. And so that's what I've learned so far. I'm on the really third secret because there are a ton of secrets. That's how he breaks up secrets, really. There's 20 secrets. I break them up into chapters. They're really chapters. And in that, he has the funnel. For a funnel, you have to have. Well, let's get back. There is another thing he talks about. So he talks about what is your niche, essentially, but I wouldn't call it niche. So when you're advertising, there are three main messages that always exist that you have to sell to a person. There's a problem in someone's life who they want to fix, or there's something they want to grow that's related to these areas. Those three areas. And these are the only three, and that's wealth, health, and relationships. And for your advertising or whatever you're doing, you want to have one main one. You can't just have one and one and a half. So you can't have wealth and health. You have to be mainly on one, and the one I'm going to choose is wealth. Okay, so wealth is making more money, health is bettering your health or whatever it is. And then third is your relationships with others, with the romantic, all that stuff. Those are the three main drivers of human growth you would cause it, or those are the three main punishment or the pain points that someone has. And I've chosen wealth because that's the one I have. I could do health because I could say, well, as a business owner, for example, if you're a business owner, you're always stressed about having to deal with problems and trying to increase your revenue and everything, and it's super stressful for you. So, you want to improve your health. Why don't I take up the 5 hours that you have to do bookkeeping every week and let me do them instead? So now you have less stress and you don't have to worry about it. I'll take care of all the bookkeeping and everything. You can look at it, everything will be fine. You have way less stress. And so that's the health way. Let's talk about the wealth way. Well, why don't you, instead of spending 5 hours a week on your bookkeeping, or even more if you're a more complicated business, why don't you spend those hours sales, trying to get more sales, trying to call you? Why don't you spend it calling people outbound sales? You're calling people, cold calling them, emailing them, DMing them if you're on social media, whatever it is. You can directly generate more sales if you are putting out more cold outreach, or maybe you have more time to take care of customers. So maybe you can spend more time building a better product or more perfect product. And if you do that, you'll have more wealth. So you'll have more sales and more revenue. And then, will the $3,000 you pay me a year, how much it is. I've seen different prices, but that's out of the way. How much you pay me, is that good enough? You can use, if you make 100,000 more dollars a year, if you have me as your accountant, as your bookkeeper, and doing all your bookkeeping, is it okay to pay me $5,000 or $10,000 of it? You're making 90K. Think about all the wealth you could spend that to get a new car, a new house, or you can build up your business. You can spend that back in the business. If you're a coffee shop, you can get another coffee shop in a year, 2 years. If it only costs, let's say, $100,000 or $90,000 to build up a coffee shop, you look how much your business growth is accelerating, and now you're more wealthy and your business is worth more. Do you think that's a good deal? Yes or no? That's my health wealth wide, but I could also do health. I could also do kind of relationships, I would say. Now, this isn't as connected, but I could say, well, now you'll have more time for your loved ones, because you don't have to work as much because you can outsource your business accounting and your bookkeeping to me. Like, why don't you do it? Your wife misses you, your children's want to play with you more. Like, why don't you do it or whatever? You see what I mean? You can choose those, but you can only have one major one. Otherwise, the message from what I read. This is all stuff I've read from my book. You got to keep that in mind. I have no experience in marketing and traffic, building traffic for a business. This is the book I'm trying to read to get that knowledge. And, so I don't have to, I don't make all these missteps. So it's a way easier to market and sales when I have this knowledge. And so hopefully this will help me avoid a lot of the paths that will cost me a lot of money and take and lessen the time it takes for my business to start generating some amount of revenue. And so that's the second part of the book so far. And the third part is about how to build an attractive character. And so what do I mean by this? Well, to sell something, you have to have someone talking, explaining something, or writing an email or whatever. But you as a person are communicating a point. You're persuading someone to pick your business out of all businesses that offer your commodity based business, because most businesses are commodities, unless you're in like tech or something, or because if you're in sale, let's say you're in alcohol, well, you're selling alcohol. Well, other people have alcohol too. Or is yours 100% better? No, maybe yours is 10%, 20% better, but you're really a commodity, and most things are commodity. If you're a farmer, is your food better than the other person's? No, they're pretty much the same. There are some markups, but let's say you're an organic farmer. Well, is your organic tomatoes as good as another organic person's tomato or organic farm's tomatoes? And they're pretty much the same. There are only so many value adds you can add to the tomato. Like I said, you can grow it organically. You can say no pesticides or harm used in this on this stuff. And you can do stuff like that, but eventually it reaches a point where you can't add value anymore. So you're basically a commodity, and your price can't jump up super high unless there's a huge market. The market for tomatoes goes under, or there's not enough demand or whatever, but you're really a commodity. And so what you want to do is developing when you're selling something, you're selling a story. And so you have to sell this story, and you have to offer a hook that gets them, in the door. That's what I think of it as, is you're trying to hook them in, and you get them in the door, and then you offer them a story, okay? Whatever the story is, you offer it, and then you offer that story, and they really resonate with that story, and then give them an offer, and the offer has to be good enough. You say, I'll do bookkeeping that's worth $10,000 for $1,000 or the equivalent, or you make them perceive that bookkeeping as $10,000 and save time and expenses, having to deal with putting all their taxes together, all that stuff. And so you say, well, all this pain or whatever cost you $10,000. And so I will do it for $1,000. Is that, that's worth it, because they get $10,000 of value from you, and they only paid $1,000. So essentially they make a profit of $9,000. At least in their minds there is, because you can make something more perceived in value. So that's what branding does, is For the Nike shoes, are they really worth the high price? What about certain guitars or whatever? Are they really worth the super high price? Are they really worth the 1,000% increase in price that compared to the next competitor? Maybe they're worth 10x. So instead of paying $100 for that, it's worth $1,000 for that guitar. But is it worth 10,000 or $1,000 or $100,000? I mean, excuse me, $100,000? No. In actual value, it's really not, but there's perceived value from it. Maybe that guitar was played by a popular, singer. Maybe that guitar was signed with a signature on it. Whatever it is, but that's the difference. The brand is the difference between the brand value is the difference between the perceived value and the actual value of the product. And so it's the same way you can add to that perceived value. So, and that's what you really want to do to separate yourself in a commoditized market, because then you can ask for higher paying sales. So instead of me asking for $300 a month, I can ask for $10,000 a month or $1,000, and a business is worth paying that if they get more value, especially if it's a really high margin on it. So if they make $90,000 in what they believe in profit because they only paid me $10,000, and I offices offered $100,000 to them. So if I convince them it's worth $100,000, they think they're getting a bargain. So it's a lot easier to sell. And so you have to have a good offer. And so you either, when you're selling something or when you're marketing, you have three things that can go wrong. Your hook's not good enough, your story's not good enough, or your offer isn't good enough. And this applies to ads specifically. So you want to have the hook or something that amazes them, makes them interested enough or curious enough for them to read the rest of the ad or read the message in the subtitles or in the comment part of the ad if you're on like Instagram or whatever. Because the main thing you see on the Instagram or on ads is the picture, and then below it is like the little writing or whatever. But they're not going to look at that unless they're hooked by the picture or whatever, or whatever it is. And then you offer, you tell the story in those little words, and then you give an offer. So for example, in this book, and I'm giving all the secrets in this book. I hope I'm not copyright striked by this guy or whatever it is. That'll be a learning experience if it does happen. I'll be sad, but in the book he talks about how there was this lady who had problems with her pelvic muscles or whatever. And so when she would exercise, she would sometimes pee while exercising. Like nothing wrong, whatever. It is whatever. This happens to women sometimes. And so that happened to her, and she made a post about it on a social media page or whatever about it, about how, and she made a video about how she peed whenever she was doing it, or she peed out a grocery store or whatever. And then she talks about how she went to the doctor, and they both formulated like a book or a post or whatever about all the different things you can do. Okay. And how it's fixed her life. And now she doesn't have to be worried about being embarrassed by it, because it is embarrassing. And, and she wrote this whole topic about it, or made this blog post or whatever it is. I forgot the specifics. And then that was the story, is how she fixed her life with those methods or whatever. And then she gives you the offer. Well, here's my, it's helped me so much. I want to offer it to you guys. It took so much time to develop, so I want to charge it a little bit. It's only worth how many dollars? If that provides enough value for you, you can go buy it or whatever. And hundreds of thousands of women bought it, or like 150,000 women bought this, book or whatever, this knowledge from her, and she became well known for it. And so that's the thing. That's what I've read so far. And I'm still developing my dream 100 influencers, because I'm going to be using influencers who the small business owners who I want to connect with are listening to, or they get their advice from. Especially if you're a business owner, if you're a good one, you're always learning, because as a leader, at least if you this is the way I see it. As business, as you build a business up, you have to face a ton of problems. And to solve those problems, you have to reach out and find little bits of nuggets of knowledge, and then try them out and, implement this knowledge into your business. And eventually one nugget succeeds. Maybe you try 10 different things and then one really blows up your business, and you keep doing that. So you're always trying to solve problems, or you're trying to increase your revenue, or trying to decrease your expenses, whatever it is. And you're trying to seek knowledge for that. And then you have to implement it. And so as a business owner, you are a leader. So that's part of the reason why I'm developing a business for myself. Unless you're like a one person business, if you're doing that, that's good or whatever, but you're basically doing a side hustle. Unless you're doing media or you're doing code, you're really a side hustle, because you're not using one of the four types of leverage, which is code, media, capital, and labor, which labor is money or is people. So it's people, money, media, code. And if you're not doing that, you're not really going to be ahead. And so unless you're doing one of those four in your business, and if you're a solo entrepreneur and you're getting like $100,000 a year as a client, well, eventually you max up on that. And that's fine for a lot of people, but I want to really build a way to wealth for myself. And to do that, to get to the millions of dollars a year or whatever, it's going to be hard. And I have to leverage one of those four types. Like, for your example, if you're a solo entrepreneur and you're the best of the best, you become an expert in whatever field. So maybe you're the best and the best at bookkeeping for businesses or whatever. Eventually, you reach the point where you can't take on any more clients. Your hours are completely booked. And so the only thing you can do is outsource, or you can raise the prices to increase your revenue. Or maybe you say the same. Maybe you're hitting 100K a year. Maybe you're hitting $1 million off your clients if they're really high paying. There's nothing you can do, and you're fine with that. That's fine. But if you want to build the millions of dollars, then you have to use the four types of leverage. And I don't have any access to capital right now. And maybe if my business takes off and I'm making 100K a year, I can save a lot of that and use that for my business. And so what I'm going to have to use is the labor part. And I'm going to either have to outsource my accounting, my bookkeeping to other people, and I just find more and more clients, or I hire a bookkeeper for like 50K a year, and I just focus on the sales and trying to make more clients and trying to find more customers. And so I have to have labor is going to be the main one that I'm going to focus on to build my business up. But yeah, that's so far is what I've read from the book. But I haven't really implemented it. I'm still looking at what's my dream customer. I'm using AI. I'm doing a lot of research. I'm looking up some channels on YouTube who talk about growing a bookkeeping business, and I'm starting to listen to those people to get some more information. And I'm starting to look up local organizations that business owners like to go to, networking events, like the local Chamber of Commerce's. There's one in Charlotte, North Carolina that I've looked up. I'm going to join that so I can network with these business owners. And so that's what the things I'm doing. I'm trying to start a hook story offer. So I want to start doing that. I got to start developing that. But yeah, that was the thing. Today, my dad gave me $70 in my bank account for my business stuff. He said, "Hey, I was thankful for that. I am thankful for that. I didn't want him to do that because I know, I don't want any help from my parents, but I am thankful for it. Like, if you watch my other videos, I don't hate my parents, but like, we have different goals in life. But he supports me on that, and he thinks I'm going to do well, or he thinks I have possibility of success. So I'm thankful for the investment, and that puts more pressure on me to succeed because he gave me some money, and now I have someone else's money in my investments, in my trying to become a business owner and everything. So, but yeah, I'm probably going to do 4 hours of Uber Eats, and I'm still bad, planning out what I'm going to be doing. 4 hours of Uber Eats a day for my income, just for a little bit of money. 4 hours a day of college classes, and then I'll probably spend the rest of the time working on my business. And so I might cut back 2 hours for college classes because I'm not really in a rush. I got to end it by the end of the 6 months so I have my degree. I want to get it done by the time I come home for Christmas so I can say I have my degree. I've got my bachelor's to my parents because that'll be the time I see them. And I'm going to probably see them maybe once or twice a year. I think that's what's going to happen because I'm so far away. I don't want to see them you know, every month or so or anything. I love them, but, I want to have some space. So, I'll see them in December, December 25th for Christmas, really. And so I want to have my college degree by then. My business stuff, I do because my goal is 10 clients by December, which is a crazy goal. Crazy goal. Like, that's the most optimistic goal because I'm starting out from 0 clients, no network or anything, to in 3 months, October, November, December, really 3 months, maybe a little bit less because I got to sell up my business and LLC. So maybe like 2.5 months, 10 clients, but that's the goal. That's the moonshot. Okay. If I get one or two, but, I'll be sad because I didn't reach my goal, but at least I'm happy I'm starting to get clients. But 10 clients is like the moonshot. That's my moonshot. I don't think I'll ever get more than that because I'd only be in business for 3 months. And so that's that. I've also been watching some YouTube videos on marketing from bookkeeping business owners. Okay. There's this one guy I've been watching, and he gave a thing on the daily life of a bookkeeping business owner. And what you have to have is you have to have outbound sales calls or outbound sales. So you're messaging someone out of the blue, interrupting their life. That's always the hardest part for people because they don't want to interrupt people's lives. Another book I have calls this Prospects. So you're trying to find new people, and then you have to qualify them into if they're going to buy something or if there's a possibility to buy something. And then you got to close on the deal, and then that's how you make your sale. So that book calls it um, prospecting. Okay, so you're prospecting for new clients. It's how you got to keep the pipeline of sales coming in, so you got to have more and more clients coming in, and as you close more sales, those people go out of your sales funnel because they've closed with you. Some of the people aren't ever going to close with you, so you got to get rid of them, and some of them are a possibility, and you have to convince them to choose your service out of the thousands there are. Okay, and so he calls that prospecting. But, beginning of the day, that's what I'm going to do is that's going to be my outbound stuff, my prospecting for the day. I'm then going to handle my incoming calls. So let's say I talk to someone and then I make an appointment for a sales call for us to meet up and I sell them my bookkeeping or whatever. I meet up in a coffee shop or something and I talk to them and I sell whatever it is, my bookkeeping business for me specifically. I will have that. Or I'm answering a phone call with someone or a Zoom call where I'm talking about my service. Whatever it is, that's that. And then I'm going to have part of my day doing parts of the bookkeeping, at least till I have, until I fill up all my time. So once I get to Charlotte, majority of my time is going to be spent hustling. If I'm not going to be delivering food, I'm going to be doing college classes. And then if I'm not doing my college classes or delivering food, I'm going to be doing um my business stuff. I'm going to be outbound stuff. I'm going to be taking calls, trying to convince them to sell, closing them on it. And then also, I got to do the actual bookkeeping for the clients I do have because you got to keep your clients, you got to deliver on your promise. Otherwise, it's fraud or they get dissatisfied with your product or your service and they don't ever hire you again. And so that's what I have to do. And I'm learning a lot about sales and marketing, but also how to build a business, which I didn't understand that before. And I think a lot of new business owners and that's what a lot of business owner people I'm listening to, I'm trying to learn from. Because these aren't the only two, the prospecting book and the traffic secrets books aren't the only books I'm reading right now. I'm also listening to business owner YouTube videos. I'm going to start listening to podcasts and everything. And so but that's what I've learned so far, and I think I've misstepped a lot of the paths in business that give you a slow start. Or, because most people are like on Traffic Secrets and on also on the YouTube video about business, businesses for bookkeeping. He was like, what a lot of people on the daily routine, he was like, a lot of people, what they do is they start up Instagram posts or they post on LinkedIn on about info and they try to become an expert in the field so they become credible and people will start to hire them. But the problem with that, and it's problems in this book, and it talked about that, is that's a long term gain because to build credibly, to build familiarity, that's the thing, is you want to build familiarity with people. You got to constantly be making content, and it takes time. It takes time for them to get to know you, because the prospecting book I was reading was like, it takes like, or one of the books, the sales books I have in that book over there, says it takes like 17 times for someone to see you before they buy something from you. So it's not the first or the third point of contact. It's like 14th or 17th. And with bigger companies, they can do marketing. And so they can market to you a ton. So you think about Coca-Cola, Pepsi, you can think about Nike, you can think about clothing wise. What are the different clothes? Banana Republic. Those are the shirts I wear. This is Banana Republic shirt. They advertise to you, and it's not because they want you to directly sell to you. No, they want to build that familiarity, because if you build that familiarity, you're more trustworthy, you're more credible. So for like Banana Republics, I trust their shirts more because I've seen more ads for them, for example. Or for another thing, I think Apple phones are better than Android because I've seen all these Apple phones way more than Android phones on the ads, or on video ads, whatever type of ad or whatever it is. But as a small business, you can't afford that. And you might not even be able to afford ads. Like Facebook ads might eat up too much into your profit. That's why a lot of e-commerce businesses barely make any profit. They maybe their profit margins are super low. It's like 1% to 10%. Why? Because you have to spend a ton on ads. And it used to be 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2016, when no one knew about this and Facebook's ads were just starting, you could get Facebook ads super cheap. And people were making a ton of money, and the profit margins were like 80-90% on drop shipping on e-commerce. But then what happened? Facebook, after that, everyone got to used to it and Facebook monopolized most of the ad market. They started raising prices. And so profit margins started to shrink. And so for a lot of business owners, especially smaller businesses, I'm starting out, I don't have a lot of money on ads or whatever. And so, content wise, you can do ads, you can do content, you can do, you build content. That's another lever for the leverage. I'm building up content. That's why I make these videos for myself, personal brand, but I'm going to start a YouTube channel for accounting, just or bookkeeping, just to, as I learn it, so I can become more credible in other people's eyes and the business owners who watch my channel. You know, that's what you want to do, but that's a long-term gain. It's to build the familiarity. And as you build up that familiarity, it gets easier and easier to sell. And so that's what happens with a lot of, senior level salespeople, is they build up all these clients that they've sold to, and they every time they follow up. So for a car salesman, every couple months they, are you doing okay? These are the newest types of cars, or if you have a problem with your car, come talk up to me. And they keep messaging you. That's why they always say you want to follow up after the sell, because you're building up that familiarity, and then eventually get to the point where people trust you more. And, this is also common in real life. If you have this person, you have a neighbor, let's say you're living in some place and that neighbor is an asshole, but, he suddenly dies, but he's been in that house for 30 years. You're kind of sad, but he's an asshole. Like, you don't even know him. He just yells at you, yells at your dog, whatever it is. And that's the thing. He becomes part of the background noise of your life, but the mind hates choice. So your mind hates or it hates change, specifically change, not choice, change. And so your mind feels sad because that change happened. So you might think the owner, the owner of your neighbor's home or whatever, he's an asshole. The neighbor is an asshole or whatever, but you still feel sad that he died. And it's because of that, or maybe he was injured, is because he's become part of your life in the background. And I was watching a video on this Haley Bieber, the Justin Bieber's girlfriend, or now she's married to him, his wife. She did that. She was a fan of Justin Bieber, so she would always like stalk him. She would ask his fans. There's a video analyzing this. She would stalk she'd get his fans to stalk him where he was at or whatever. And then because she was a Rich Harris or whatever, from what I know, she would go and if he was at one hotel, she would book a place in that hotel, or she would eat in the same diner by him. So she was always nearby him, and she would always meet him up with him. And eventually, she won him. Selena Gomez, they broke up or whatever. She started doing things that were similar to Selena Gomez, but she also was always near him. And so she became part of the background of his life, and he started to fall for her. And that's the thing. That's probably the dream for a lot of Justin Bieber fans. And if I had someone that dedicated, who knows, but that's just the power of it. And you do that in sales too. So the story and all that is fine or whatever, but building up that familiarity and becoming an expert and all that takes time. And so what you have to really do in the beginning is you have to as right when you're starting the business, you got to start doing outbound calls. You got to start calling people, DMing them, messaging them, emailing them, you know, just to get clients. And you got to do that. You got to face the rejection. How many of those people will say yes? Or how many of those people will even accept to meet you? Not even buy your product, but just meet with you. How many? Probably barely none of them. But if you do 100 of them, maybe after 2 or 3 of them will accept, and maybe one of them will become your customer. So why not do it? And that's the way you grow in the beginning. And then that also builds up your credibility, because then you can ask for referrals, and then they give you referrals for maybe a discounted price, and then that builds up your credibility, plus the posts that you're making people familiar with you. Those both make you credible, and then your business blows up, and then you get more and more clients, and then you don't you're prospecting so much, you have so many clients in your sales pipeline that it's unimaginable. And then that's when you can start making the big money. Now you still have to outbound calls and all of that stuff. You got to outbound sales. You still got to do that, because your credibility will also only take you so far. You got to combine that with your artificial favorability, which is going out there and talking to people, connecting with people and everything. And the favorability part is, connecting, networking with people. You can also do it in person. You don't have to just post something online. You can network people, become friends with them. The point isn't to become a salesperson with these people who you think are your ideal customers. You want to develop a connection with them. And then eventually they will start to buy when you give them an offer out to the world, and they'll see it, and then they'll go, "Oh, I'm going to bite on that." But you don't like just go up to them and ask. No, you build a network with them, you connect with them, you get to know them, and then eventually they will want to buy your services because they trust you more than the average Joe who's an average bookkeeper that they don't know at all and who can just run away from your life. They know they can always find you if you screw up. And so that's what I've known. I have my books over here. I don't know if I've shown you. I went to Barnes and Nobles. I got all 3 different books from the series. This is about the expert. So I was talking about how you want the hook, the story, the offer. This book doesn't go in depth. From what I've read, it doesn't go in so much depth. It just has like a chapter on it. But this is the book that goes in all depth into it. And so this is how you become an expert. That's the expert secrets, and that's how you influence people through the expert. I have I have my prospecting book in my house. I have the philosophy of selling. So this is the one that talks about um how how many times, and it talks about the inner game of selling. But this talks about how many times you have to talk to someone, and it talks about basic struggling, how you should record your phone, your sales call and everything. And that's really important because sales is an inner game, at least according to this book. I'm a newbie. Don't ask me, but these are the best books on sales I can find, and these are what people recommended to me, and I'm finding value so far. But this is the best book of sales, at least one of the best books, and he has the credibility up. And then the .com secrets. These are the um this is like the funnel problem. So this is how to set everything up. Set up the websites, the ads, how to do them, the specific ways, the actual funnels, because everything in sales is like a funnel. And so what you really have is you have a sales funnel. You have people coming in through organic traffic. You post a ton of posts, people become familiar with you. People who want your service start to reach out for you. And then you have outbound stuff where you're calling people, you're specifically going to them and asking, hey, can you do this, this, and this for me? Or can you buy my product? I want to talk about my product to you. And if you're interested, buy it. So those people come in through your sales funnel. And then you have to slowly over time, you have to provide value to them while they're in this funnel. But over time, you sell more and more stuff to them, and then it becomes useful. And so you do that. Okay. And then expert is about becoming an expert to influence people in it or whatever. So you do that. And so that's so far what I'm learning. And so that's the end for the video. Right now I'm focused on business because in a week, 2 weeks I'm moving out and I have to do some tasks before I move out. This hurricane delayed me. Like I was going to get a haircut today. I was also going to visit the insurance place to get my insurance switched over to me instead of my mom paying it. So I pay my mom and then she pays the insurance stuff. And also I was going to try and go to the DMV and get my car switched to my name because it's in my mom's and my dad's name. It's in the title, that's them. I see my dog. He's outside. He's looking at me. Sorry or whatever. My dad let the dogs out. They're like looking, why is this car out? Anyway, but it's been delayed. So probably my move out date has been moved back a little bit. So it's probably the first week of October, but it's not going to be the beginning of the first week. So it's not going to be the first or second or third. It's probably going to be like the 7th or the 6th. I gotta book the hotel because I have 2 to 3 days, depending on the price of the hotel, to stay at a hotel. That will give me some time to search out the place I need to rent at, the place I can live at for the next couple months, 6 months to a year. And then if my business does well, I'll have more money, and so I can get a better apartment. I want a better apartment. In the beginning, if I have to live in a room with someone and I have my own room, but I share a kitchen and a dorm room, I didn't want to do that, but if it comes down to it, I'll do that and I'll just have my own room. I don't know for sure. We'll have to see. I hope I can get like a studio apartment and I'll have my own kitchen and room and all that. And it can be small or whatever. That'll allow me to record videos. I'll have more privacy. I have more space instead of just having one small room. We'll see. That's it for today. Yeah, but these are my 4 books. I focus on traffic more because I think short term the traffic book will be more important. And this is how to get people into your sales funnel specifically. And that's what I need. I need more people coming into my business or whatever. Because once I have that, I can start learning sales. And I also organically I'm going to try to use this book to become an expert and build credibility, but that takes time. And so it's 3 months for my goal. This is a little further away. And so probably these books are later on, but I got to do some stuff. We'll see. And it's goodbye. That's the end of the video. I always see the wave, or I'm going on to my goal. I have slacked off for a little bit because I have been sad for a little bit because I quit my job and I left all my coworkers who care about me and I care about them, and I probably won't see them again or one time a year in person. So I am sad about that. I kind of rebounced though, and plus the hurricane coming in, I have to deal with the stress. And I also packed up all my stuff, so all of my clothes are really packed. And that's the main stuff that takes up space, and also my books. These books are out but I packed up most of the books, the ones in my car, and also then them have been packed up into boxes, which is like 3 boxes of books. I have a lot of books, some of them fiction, a lot of them not. I haven't read all of them, so that's from my library. I'll build a bookcase in my when I move, and I'll have all my books in there. So that's it for the day. This is goodbye. I know it's not the best video quality, but whatever. I gotta get a haircut still. Tell me what's a good haircut for me. That's it. Um, you have any other thing? Another thing is, do you find these videos encouraging? The last comment that I made encouraged me. So if you have anything encouraging, that's it. My dad's wandering the place now wandering the store to blow the lawnmower. I don't know why he's doing it, but that's it. I gotta go. Have a great day. I told you I'm going to make these videos every Tuesday and Thursday, no matter what happens. And I've made these videos. Even if I had no content planned out for day, I have my content. That was my content for the day. It's been 50 minutes. I thought this would be a 20-minute video. I always say that. However, it is what it is. Have a fantastic week. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. I might do a video tomorrow because I'm going to the study room on Friday because I can now do that because I don't have work during Friday. And also, I missed today. I was going to go to the study room. So, whatever it is, you can do it. Believe on your own. If you're starting a business, we can talk about it. That'd be cool. If not, if you're working out, starting to work out again, that's cool. If you're eating better, whatever it is that's motivating. Or maybe you're trying something new and you want to talk about the effects and you want to ask me to try it out. Some guy he was talking about my commenter guy who said I was really motivating, which I'm proud of. That's my best comment, and I'm proud of that. He talked about journaling. I've done it for like 10 days before and I couldn't keep it up. So maybe, who knows? That's it. Have a good day. This is goodbye. Keep up the good work. I believe in you. You believe in me. Let's motivate each other. So that's it. I don't know why the light's going in now.